I recently attended my 40-year high school reunion. It's surreal to think that so much time has passed, yet here I am, wondering what I have to show for it. Money, sure. I've done well for myself in that regard. But beyond that, my life feels pretty empty. I could retire at any moment, but I keep working because I honestly don't know what I'd do with myself if I stopped. As for finding someone special, I gave up on that a long time ago. I spent another 2 years wallowing in self-pity. My family pushed me to get back out there, so I did. With my wealth and fitness, meeting women wasn't an issue. The problem was that I just didn't feel anything for them. We'd date for a while, and though I no longer had the intense freakouts I used to, I still couldn't commit. I kept my feelings locked away, and it always ended the same. Eventually, they'd sense that I wasn't truly in it, and things would fall apart. By the time I hit 40, my family staged an intervention of sorts. It seemed like everyone I knew, admittedly, not many people, was trying to set me up with the future Mrs. Stan. I figured I should at least try. I met a woman named Trish. She was nice, driven even. I made an effort to act like I thought I should in a relationship. But Trish was smart. She could tell I wasn't fully invested. After about a year, it all came to a head in a big argument. That was my last relationship 16 years ago. My younger brother passed away 2 years ago. I still miss him. My parents have been gone for a few years now too. I think those losses are what ultimately pushed me to go to the reunion. After all this time, I needed to socialize, even if only for one night. I wasn't planning to go initially, mainly out of fear that Charles and Maura would be there, but I convinced myself to get over it. The evening was relatively uneventful. I chatted with a few people I remembered from high school, but I spent most of the time sitting alone at a table. Eventually Dukes, an old classmate who was always friendly and could talk to anyone, came by and sat next to me. He was the one organizing the event. "Eric, you've barely aged a day," Dukes said. "We're all pushing 60, and you look like you're still south of 40. "Yeah, I hear that all the time," I replied. "I take care of myself, and I'm lucky. I can't remember the last time I was sick." "Guess old Chuck couldn't make it after all," Dukes continued. I looked at him, a bit surprised. "I guess not," I said. "We haven't spoken in some time now. Was he supposed to come?" Dukes looked a little sheepish. "Oh, my apologies. I remembered you two were tight back in the day. I figured you still were since he called me to ask if you had RSVP'd. "He did. Did he say anything else?" "Not much," Dukes said. "He just wanted to see if you were coming. He said he was deciding whether to attend and wanted to know your status before he committed. I had him down as a maybe." I knew then that Charles wouldn't show. We'd run into each other about 10 years ago, and both of us had turned and walked away without a word. Dukes went on, "Well, he's doing well for himself. I saw on Facebook that he's got a couple of grandkids now and is close to retirement. Good for him." That's when I gave in to the urge to see how much things had changed. "I don't have social media. Can you show me how Charles is doing?" Like I said, we lost touch a few years back. "Sure," Dukes said, pulling out his phone. He searched for Charles, but then got distracted and handed me his phone. "Have a look. I need to go talk to somebody. I'll be back in a minute or two." I thanked him and scrolled through years of Charles' life in those 10 minutes. I saw smiling photos of holidays and vacations, 3 kids, 2 grandkids, and a daughter who was pregnant with twins. I saw my ex-in-laws, birthday messages, and my once-upon-a-time father-in-law calling Charles the best son-in-law a man could ask for. There were events and parties with old friends, all part of the life I was supposed to have. I left shortly after that. A few days later, Dukes called me, apologizing profusely for bringing up Charles. He explained that someone had told him what had happened between us after I left. Dukes is a nice man. He didn't have to call, but he did. He ended the call like everyone always does. "If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask." But what can you ask for when no one can make your memories go away or stop your heart from hurting? They say time heals all wounds, But for me, time has only made it worse.